This is S78 to Bricktown Mall. This stop is St. George Ferry and Ramsey S78. Next stop, Bay Street and Nickelport Place. Transfers available to S42, S46, S48, S52, S61, S62, S66, S74 and S76. This stop is Bay Street and Nickelport Place. Next stop, Bay Street and Central Avenue. Transfers available to S42 and S52. This stop is Bay Street and Central Avenue. Next stop, Victory Boulevard and Bay Street. Transfers available to Staten Island Railway, S46, S48, S51, S61, S62, S66, S74, S76, S81 Limited, S84 Limited, S86 Limited, S91 Limited, S92 Limited, S96 Limited and S98 Limited. This stop is Victory Boulevard and Bay Street. Next stop, St. Paul's Avenue and Van Duzer Street. This stop is St. Paul's Avenue and Van Duzer Street. Next stop, St. Paul's Avenue and Swan Street. This stop is St. Paul's Avenue and Swan Street. Next stop, St. Paul's Avenue and Paxton Street. This stop is St. Paul's Avenue and Paxton Street. Next stop, St. Paul's Avenue and Cibra Avenue. This stop is St. Paul's Avenue and Cibra Avenue. Next stop, Beach Street and Van Duzer Street. Transfers available to S52 and S74. This stop is Beach Street and Van Duzer Street. Next stop, Beach Street and Union Place. This stop is Beach Street and Union Place. Next stop, Canal Street and Wright Street. Transfers available to S74 and Sim30. This stop is Canal Street and Wright Street. Next stop, Tompkins Avenue and Broad Street. Transfer available to S74. This stop is Tompkins Avenue and Broad Street. Next stop, Tompkins Avenue and Hill Street. This stop is Tompkins Avenue and Hill Street. Next stop, Tompkins Avenue and Vanderbilt Avenue. Transfers available to S52, S76, S86 Limited and Sim30. This stop is Tompkins Avenue and Vanderbilt Avenue. Next stop, Tompkins Avenue and Chestnut Avenue. This stop is Tompkins Avenue and Chestnut Avenue. Next stop, Tompkins Avenue and St. Mary's Avenue. This stop is Tompkins Avenue and St. Mary's Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Vaughn Street. Transfers available to S52 and Sim30. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Vaughn Street. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Reynolds Street. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Reynolds Street. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Donley Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Donley Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Narrows Road South. Transfers available to S79 SBS, S93 Limited, Sim1, Sim1C, Sim3C, Sim7, Sim10, Sim11, Sim15, Sim33C and Sim35. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Narrows Road South. Next stop, Olga Place and Pouch Terrace. This stop is Olga Place and Pouch Terrace. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Piedmont Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Piedmont Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Fingerboard Road. Transfer available to S52. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Fingerboard Road. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and West Fingerboard Road. Transfers available to S52 and S53. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and West Fingerboard Road. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Bionia Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Bionia Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Steuben Street. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Steuben Street. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Allendale Road. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Allendale Road. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Clove Road. Transfers available to S53, S79 SBS, Sim1, Sim1C, Sim7, Sim10 and Sim11. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Clove Road. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Parkinson Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Parkinson Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Old Town Road. Transfers available to Staten Island Railway and S79 SBS. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Old Town Road. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Reed Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Reed Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Cooper Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Cooper Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Berger Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Berger Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Delaware Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Delaware Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Cromwell Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Cromwell Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Seaview Avenue. Transfer available to S79 SBS. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Seaview Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Buell Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Buell Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Naughton Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Naughton Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Seaver Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Seaver Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Jefferson Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Jefferson Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Adams Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Adams Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Midland Avenue. Transfers available to S51, S79 SBS and S81 Limited. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Midland Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Lincoln Avenue. Transfers available to S51, SIM5, SIM6 and SIM9. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Lincoln Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Bancroft Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Bancroft Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Otis Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Otis Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Burbank Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Burbank Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and New Dorp Lane. Transfers available to S76 and S79 SBS. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and New Dorp Lane. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Rose Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Rose Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Sterling Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Sterling Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Lindbergh Avenue. Transfers available to S57, S79 SBS and SIM11. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Lindbergh Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Cannon Boulevard. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Cannon Boulevard. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Tizens Lane. Transfer available to S57. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Tizens Lane. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Oak Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Oak Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Guyan Avenue. Transfers available to S57 and S79 SBS. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Guyan Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Champlain Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Champlain Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Montreal Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Montreal Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Curry Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Curry Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Buffalo Street. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Buffalo Street. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Spratt Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Spratt Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Bay Terrace. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Bay Terrace. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Redgrave Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Redgrave Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Keegan's Lane. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Keegan's Lane. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Fieldway Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Fieldway Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Great Kills Road. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Great Kills Road. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Hillside Terrace. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Hillside Terrace. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Nelson Avenue. Transfers available to S54, S79 SBS, SIM5 and SIM6. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Nelson Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Osborne Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Osborne Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Armstrong Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Armstrong Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Pacific Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Pacific Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Winchester Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Winchester Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Richmond Avenue. Transfers available to S54, S59, S79 SBS, S89 Limited, SIM1, SIM1C, SIM7. SIM9, SIM10 and SIM22. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Richmond Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Hales Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Hales Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Woods of Arden Road. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Woods of Arden Road. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Arden Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Arden Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Holdridge Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Holdridge Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Barclay Avenue. Transfer available to SIM23. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Barclay Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Lipset Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Lipset Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Poyon Avenue. Transfer available to SIM23. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Poyon Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Wendy Drive. Transfers available to S55 and S56. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Wendy Drive. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Arbutus Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Arbutus Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Huguenot Avenue. Transfers available to S55, S56, S59 and SIM2. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Huguenot Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Luton Avenue. Transfer available to SIM24. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Luton Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Cornelia Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Cornelia Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Seguin Avenue. Transfers available to S55, S56, SIM2 and SIM25. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Seguin Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Inez Street. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Inez Street. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Yetman Avenue. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Yetman Avenue. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Brighton Street. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Brighton Street. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Chelsea Street. Transfers available to S59, SIM2, SIM25 and SIM26. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Chelsea Street. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Carteret Street. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Carteret Street. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Connecticut Street. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Connecticut Street. Next stop, Hylan Boulevard and Craig Avenue. Transfers available to SIM2, SIM25 and SIM26. This stop is Hylan Boulevard and Craig Avenue. Next stop, Craig Avenue and Amboy Road. This stop is Craig Avenue and Amboy Road. Next stop, Amboy Road and Carteret Street. This stop is Amboy Road and Carteret Street. Next stop, Amboy Road and Main Street. This stop is Amboy Road and Main Street. Next stop, Arthur Kill Road and Yetman Avenue. Transfer available to S74. This stop is Arthur Kill Road and Yetman Avenue. Next stop, Arthur Kill Road and Wood Avenue. This stop is Arthur Kill Road and Wood Avenue. Next stop, Arthur Kill Road and Arthur Kill Station. Transfer available to Staten Island Railway. This stop is Arthur Kill Road and Arthur Kill Station. Next stop, Arthur Kill Road and Nassau Place. This stop is Arthur Kill Road and Nassau Place. Next stop, Arthur Kill Road and Richmond Valley Road. This stop is Arthur Kill Road and Richmond Valley Road. Next stop, Arthur Kill Road and Major League Plaza. This stop is Arthur Kill Road and Major League Plaza. Next stop, Arthur Kill Road and South Bridge Street. This stop is Arthur Kill Road and South Bridge Street. Next stop, Bricktown Shopping Center. Transfers available to S74 and S84 Limited. This stop is Bricktown Shopping Center. This is S78 to Bricktown Mall.